Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurions Review, the punk rock band of Wargame Review Institutions. This is Waterloo 2016 through 18th June 1815 from Victory Point Games. It's one of their old micro games. This one's from Joseph Miranda. And this looks like it's Napoleonic Series #1, so there may be other titles in this series too. I know it's got exclusive rules and base rule set. So anyhow, in the bag here, you got a tiny little dice like you usually do. Waterloo 20 is the first title in a series of games featuring low unit density on the map, 20 pieces or less, modest complexity, and dramatic fast-playing turns. With Napoleon's escape from exile and return to France, his grand army is once again on the march. Can the Anglo-Allied forces under Wellington and the Prussian army under Blücher stop him? Veteran designer Joseph Miranda has reduced the complexity and focused the scope of Napoleonic campaigns with his innovative Napoleonic 20 game system. This system provides for interesting operational level maneuvers that set up dramatic battles and cavalry engagements. It also has random event cards and night game turns which provide the friction of war that affected both sides greatly during the campaign. Morale plays an important role on both sides as players can spend some time so they can spend some morale to force march their pieces, help rally stragglers, or urge their troops on as they advance in battle. But look out, when a side's morale is reduced to 0, it has lost the game. Says complexity is 4, takes about 50 minutes to play. Solitaire suitability is pretty good. In scale, each unit is 1 core, 1 hex is 1,000 meters, and each turn's 3.5 hours. Or a night turns 10 hours. Alright, let's take a look at the map here. Here's your game turn track down here. The morale track's on a player aid card. Actually, it'd be nice if I turn it right side up. For a little micro game, this isn't bad. The map, it's okay. Yeah, here's your night turns here. Turn 3, 7. Well, turn 3, turn 8, and turn 13. I've read through the rules. It looks like on night turns, I think you can move around, but you cannot attack, and zones of control don't apply at night. Alright, let's take a look at the counters. Counters are pretty much single-sided. A little bit blurry. Whatever machine they use to print isn't suitable for this type of stuff. But their new later games had crisper counters, actually a lot better counters than this. The artwork, I mean, isn't bad, it's just kind of blurry. Here's the random events cards. Let's look at a couple of them, if I can figure out how to open this thing. Alright, a Spirit Decor. Roll a die on a 1 or 2, you lose 1 morale. On a 3 or 4, nothing happens. On a 5 or 6, you gain 1. According to plan, no effect, reshuffle the cards. For the other player, Frederick's Court, roll a die during each allied movement phase. On a 6, place the AD3 core on the map as a reinforcement, and the allies gain 1 morale point. Otherwise, nothing happens, but you can try this again each turn until you succeed. Alright, let's take a look at the player aid. It's got the morale track in the bottom there. So it looks like the turn sequence is random events, then movement, then enemy reaction, then combat, and then night operations. Where you do rallying and morale loss due to captured terrain, morale recovery from rest, reconcealment, and reshuffle the deck. Here's your hazardous retreats chart and your rally table, and there's your combat results table. I noticed that the combat results table has both routes and withdraws. I think withdraws you move back 1, and then routes you roll to see how far you move back, and if you're an elite unit, then you'll move a little bit less. Alright, here's your morale chart. Here's your terrain effects chart. And what do we have here? Oh, this is just a cover with some designer notes. Here's the exclusive rules. Shows how to set up here. And as far as sequence of play, it's just saying the French player is the first player. And for random events in this game, you skip the French player's random events phase in the first turn only. For movement, you have forced marches added to the rules. And let's see here, it's got reinforcements there and army morale. And then on your night turns, morale recovery from rest, and then the fixes are Quatre Bras and Ligny. And the allied objective hexes are Waterloo and Waverloo. If I'm pronouncing any of that correctly, I doubt it. Alright, here's your base rules. It's actually not that long. They made it sound like this was like a complex game when I read the back of the game, but it's only like 7 or 8 pages. It's actually not that bad. Alright, looks like the counters have a combat strength and a movement allowance. Here it's getting into setting up the game. Sequence of play, we already went over that. Alright, now it's going into random events in more detail, and here's the reaction phase. Looks like you can have counter charges and stuff there. Here's your combat rules. Looks like you get bonuses for artillery. And here's your terrain effects on combat. This looks pretty straightforward actually so far. Here's your rallying rules, reinforcement rules, and army morale, which is important in this because, like it said, if you drop to 0, your army is defeated. Alright, as far as victory, as I said, if one side drops to 0, it loses, but you can have an anti-French marginal victory if at the end of the game the anti-French side has one more morale than the French side. Alright, and here's some optional rules, like revealing hidden units, cavalry penetration, defensive artillery support, and unit reduction. Broken units can return to play as smaller formations, reduce strength units called cadres. Thanks for watching, guys. Just wanted to show you this. I just picked it up at a convention not very long ago. Have a good evening.